Hi friends, thank you so much again for tuning into my channel. Today is our debut episode for Who's in My Kitchen, and we have none other than my friend Mika.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So today we are going to be just chatting about life and also eating our staple JOLLIBEE.
Thanks for having me.
Of
I
course.
don't even know if there's JOLLIBEE in Nashville.
I was just, that's why I was like, I want to give you something
So
that I
that's
feel
good.
like that we can taste something yummy, and also, the peach mango pies, so good. And if they're a little cold, air frying them, pro tip, it'll bring them back to life. So so I feel like we should just start from the beginning. Tell us where you're from, tell us your background. I know, so we met at church, so I've only really known Mika now for about a year. And every time we get together and chat, I just feel like there are just so many good nuggets that I'm like, oh my gosh, more of the world needs to hear this, especially women, women in business, Filipino women, women who are trying to get their bodies right, their health right, their mindset right. All of the things. So, yeah.
All right, so take it from the beginning. So I grew up, no, I'm just kidding. I grew up very Filipino, very Christian as well. I was born in California. I lived there till I was about 5 years old, and then from 5 years old to 15, I grew up in the Philippines.
Wow.
And then moved back to California, stayed there till I was 21, and then I've been in Vegas since 21 till right now, 11 years. Oh, I just disclosed my age.
See,
All
these are
good.
the Filipino genes. Like, we're gonna look
honestly.
this good till we're like 70, and then we're gonna turn into a raisin. So
We're all gonna look the
we
same.
just have to just take it in,
Yeah.
take it all in while we can.
But honestly, 30s, like it's been my favorite years ever.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take back anything. I mean, there's actually a couple of things I would take back, but hey, it is what it is. But I'm really enjoying my 30s. And yeah, I am a fitness online coach now. I've been a personal trainer for about 4 years almost. 3 of those years, 2020, so 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 of those years full-time online. I'm sorry, full-time in person.
Okay.
Ever since after the pandemic.
Okay.
I never went back to bartending since the bars were closed. The gyms were open first, and then I just kind of went full throttle into personal training.
So no
Never back to-
nursing school. Your parents didn't want you to become an accountant, or
No, I mean, I did some college, but definitely I was never studious.
Okay.
I really didn't like school growing up. I actually got kicked out twice.
in the Philippines or here?
One in the Philippines,
Okay.
and one in America.
You're like, just school in general.
Like I literally grew up, and I had the privilege to grow up in the Philippines and United States. So I could flip on you and just be like completely Filipino. You would never know that I spoke English, and so like I actually take pride in that because like I've experienced both cultures through and through. I mean, at 15, you already know what's going on. You know what I mean? And then coming to America, learning the American culture, like I know both cultures very well, so it's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we grew up very similarly. Like, I never actually lived in the Philippines, but ever since we were young kids, my parents would just send us back there with our grandparents. And my mom's from Pampanga, so we spent a lot of time in the province. And I just, like, it's crazy to think that when we were young kids, like, I try to explain to people how just in certain parts of the Philippines, I mean, it's a beautiful country. It's one of my favorite places to visit, but when we were growing up at like my grandparents' house, like there was no hot water.
Yeah.
Like we had to boil our water to like take a bath, and it wasn't even like a shower. We had to like squat with a tabo
Yeah.
and give ourselves a bath.
Yeah.
And like to me, it was normal. But I think looking back, I'm so happy that my parents like gave us that part of us just so we just knew how good we had it here and really understood like just the privilege and like everything that they sacrificed for us out here to give us a good life.
Yeah, definitely. And I wouldn't say that living in the Philippines is a bad life either.
No,
'cause,
yeah,
like,
not at all.
I just came back from the Philippines, and like I actually used a tablet the whole time I was there, and I was like,
did?
oh my gosh, it's so much quicker.
You're like, everyone's freaking out about like the toilet paper pandemic back then. And all you needed was a
we
tablet.
do really have it good here in America. But I actually would probably go back to the Philippines, and I could see myself living there.
Really?
Later on in life.
Okay.
There's definitely a lot more for me to do. Look, if I didn't have my dogs, I would probably stay there for a couple.
You can bring them there.
No, they'd probably die in cargo.
You think so?
Unless I train them to go, because it's a 13 to 15-hour flight.
No, but they're small enough. I feel like they can go under
Bob's
this.
like
Bob's kind of big.
like 70 pounds.
So let me tell you, my mom
Wait.
moved to the Philippines in 2008, and we had 2 dogs. And so she brought them. It was kind of a pain for the process, like their passports and their doctor tests and stuff, but she got them there and they lived there to the end of their lives.
Nice. Yeah.
And they lived a good life. They had 2 yayas, like
the dogs.
Yeah, they had 2 nannies and
Yeah.
a driver to look after them. So yeah, life is good there.
Yeah, it just, I think if it was only Marley, then I could get away with it, somehow train her to be a legit like emotional support or service animal, so I can bring her on the plane. But it's such a long flight that like I don't feel comfortable putting them in there. They already have breathing problems and all that, so I don't feel comfortable.
Fair.
But yeah, like going back to your question about being a nurse and whatnot.
Did do you feel like your parents put any pressure on you on like who you needed to be to make them proud of you, or were they very open?
So I actually started getting into trouble at a very young age, at like 12 years old. So I think it was enough for them to just keep me in school, let alone talk about college and whatnot. I had my own like view of life. And I didn't really know where I was going, but I think because I got into trouble, like there wasn't even a chance for them to be like, hey, I want you to be this, I want you to be that. So to answer your question, no. I just kind of made it through life with all of the trouble that I went through. And like, if you were to tell me 5 years ago or 10 years ago that I would be a personal trainer, now full-time online coach today, like, it wasn't happening. So I did try college. I did I think I was 6 classes away from my AA degree, my associate's degree. And I never really liked school, and I just kind of went back to partying. And and then after all those partying years, I got sick of it and tried the whole bodybuilding thing, and then one thing led to another. So I'm grateful because yes, without college, without pursuing anything really, like I was able, like I'm living my dream now. And
that is so amazing.
So only God, only through God.
Only God, I know. It's so crazy. And you mentioned you even grew up in a Christian home, and like, how would you compare your walk when you were younger to like who you are as a woman now?
So I grew up going to church every Sunday. My dad started Sunday school there, like he was like the head of it. And so I actually helped out too. So I grew up in church, even though, towards my teen years, I did, like do the whole partying thing. I would still make it to church on a Sunday.
For
no
sure.
sleep or whatever. And then even going to California, I was also I was also going to church. I was part of the youth group and whatnot. And I think it really wasn't until like my parents left to go back to the Philippines that I didn't go to church at all. So from 18 years old to like 27, 28, no, I want to say 27, I was just like, I completely backslid. And was just kind of living life on my own terms. And of course I believed in God, but I wasn't pursuing a relationship with him. I wasn't going to church. My church was raves and parties and rollbacks and all of that. So so I spent a lot of years doing that.
What brought you out to Vegas?
So, sure you want to get into that? No, I'm kidding. I was actually running away from a crazy ex-boyfriend. Who went to prison. And my brother had lived out here. He was going to culinary school at the time, and he was the closest family that I had. And so I asked him if I could move in. And I told him, I was like, I promise you, I will stay out of your hair. I will get a job, and I will move out in like 2 months. I did it in a month, and I had 3 jobs. So I was very determined. Like, if there's anything about me, I'm very resilient. So with all that going on in California, I pretty much had no choice but to come to Vegas, and I'm so glad that I did. Even if I spent the first few years doing whatever, partying,
Yeah.
building
I feel like you need
building
to get
my
it.
testimony.
I feel like you need to get it out of your system too.
Right.
I was born and raised out here,
Yeah.
and I mean, I did I had a fake ID at 19. Like, I was at Access every Friday and Saturday when I was in college because I thought I deserved it. Like, and I like now, like being in my early 30s, like those years were fun, but it was like for such a season that I'm like, I have no desire to even like, that's not fun to me anymore. And there's nothing wrong with it. But I just think I'm kind of glad that I got it out of my system early on.
Right.
Versus now.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I am too. So happy because there are some people out there that are still going through their 30s, you know, realizing that like, oh my gosh, I still have to go do this, do that. And then they throw away family or, you know, careers and whatnot. And I'm just like, man, I'm glad that I got all of that out of my system.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Even with my faith too, I feel like, I mean, I didn't grow up super religious. Like my parents tried to do their best and like raise us in like a Catholic home, but like Christmas and Easter. And then, and when I was like in middle school, high school, when my dad started going to a Christian church. And when I was young, like I didn't know what I had in my hands. Like it wasn't even until I was in my early 20s when I really understood like what it meant to have a relationship with God. And like, and that was like the whole start of it too. And I think being able to understand my faith now as an adult, like, like, do I wish I like had this when I was 15? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But am I grateful for all of that to take me to where I am? Like that's, like you said, it's like you're building your testimony. We're living proof that God is real.
Right. Yeah.
And
I feel like we wouldn't have such conviction and like want to live this life if we didn't go through a life so broken and so lost. Because like that's just how I feel. I'm like, there's no way I'm going back to that drinking lifestyle. Like I don't want to feel lost. I don't want to be broken. Like now whenever I feel like I've experienced heartbreak since I've been walking with God, but like that heartbreak isn't as bad as like it was before because now we turn to God for him to fix that, you know? So I'm glad for all of those crazy years and I'm glad that it's behind me, but it really wouldn't make me the woman that I am today, so hungry and so, just so hungry for God and not wanting to go the other way. Like there's just no doubt. Like, you know what I mean? I am not going that way ever because I have experienced so much pain and suffering through all of that. And like now walking with God and seeing how faithful he is and just feeling him in my everyday and like, you know, having that relationship with him, like I wouldn't trade that for anything, you know, this is the way to go. And like you can experience heaven on earth.
Yeah.
You know,
so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. And not many people get the opportunity to experience that.
Not a lot of Christians too. Like a lot of them are saved, but not a lot of them can experience God in this life. And that's just sad. Kind of like what Pastor Jabin was saying earlier about like how much of a Christian can I be just to get into heaven? You know, they're missing the point. Like, no, you can have that life here, you know? So anyways,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know we were like just talking about like our crazy party life and like coming home at 4 or 5 in the morning. And now I feel like I watch her stories like every day, you guys. And Mika, I will say, is like one of the driving forces to get me up earlier because this girl is up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock at the gym. Like, so kind of tell us about like your like morning routine. How did you, like what made you decide that, okay, I'm intentionally going to be a morning person because I can tell you I am naturally a night owl. Yeah. And getting up at 6 hurts. So tell me about this 3 a.m. madness.
Okay, so it all started when it started after the pandemic, 2020, right? I think I told you that I went full-time into personal training, but I just wasn't getting the results that I needed. So I hired a mentor. His name is Sean Alexander. Hey, Sean, what's up? I owe it all to him, honestly. He really taught me routine. He made me aware of my values and made me self-aware of myself and like what I really want in life, and whatever doesn't align with that has to go. And so he taught me, you know, discipline. And so we started off our mentorship program with just, you know, creating routines. And he's like, all right, well, if you have your client at 5 in the morning, you need to be up at 3 o'clock. So you have 1 hour to do your morning routine. So for me, that's devotional, make my coffee, get in some pre-workout, change, and then go to the gym so I can be there at 4 a.m. So 4 to 5, I work out, and then 5 a.m. I start my day.
Wow.
So yes, it was so hard for me, girl, because like I was also a night owl, you know. to think that I used to go home at 4, 5, 6 in the morning to now waking up at 3 o'clock and then being so disciplined, being in the gym and getting a bomb workout like at 4.
I don't even think like my muscles are even awake when my brain's up that early.
Yeah. So it just really, it was hard in the beginning, but you have to give it like a couple weeks for your body to adjust to that.
Yeah.
So I slept at 9 p.m. religiously and I woke up at 3 a.m. religiously, and it was just a routine. It was a habit. And, you know, pretty soon that just led into me having more discipline in other areas of my life, like my devotional, my, you know, reading my Bible, you know, like making sure that all of my clients are taken care of throughout the day, and that I have enough energy, and that I'm feeding my body nutritious food to be able to have that energy for them. And so it just kind of is like it was a tripling effect like into my day. So that's why it's so important for me to start my day off taking care of me, so that way it would trickle into how I treat others and how I show up for the world and my business and all of that. So,
And can you like touch on a little bit on like the importance of mentorship? Because I feel like that word really gets thrown around, especially in 2023. And it's not just about having a mentor, but it is also having the right mentor. So like for you, like what does the importance of having a mentor, like how has that really affected like your life?
So I didn't even know that there was such a person like Sean, for example, but like I struggled with, you know, drinking, basically addictions, right? Struggled with anxiety and depression. And I was just like, I need someone that's going to guide me through, keep me in check, give me accountability, and help me not drink on the weekends.
Okay.
And then a friend of mine was like, I know just the person. And so like, I didn't even know that this type of mentor like existed. And so the importance of having one is to keep you accountable. Is for someone to actually make you realize your true potential, which is believing in yourself, like before you can even believe in yourself. Like they believe in you before you could even believe in yourself. So they see things, they see potential in you that you may not see because of anxiety and depression, because you're lazy, because you're unproductive, and because of also just like self-doubt and how you see yourself, right? Like you know, my self-esteem at that point was so low that I couldn't really see myself, you know, flourish and do all of that. But he saw that just by talking to me and then seeing, oh my gosh, like you have a business, you have a great personality, you can really take this, but you got to be serious. We got to get these things in order. So I think that's the number, like those are like my top, like things that I can think of that makes mentors so worth it. Is the accountability, and for someone to see you, you know, when you can't see yourself.
And I feel like that can even translate to your career as a trainer.
Definitely.
Right? Because like in just even being a personal trainer, like it isn't like you're not just counting reps for us.
No,
it's so much more.
It's so much more than that. And because I got that type of mentorship, I'm able now to give that to my clients. You know what I mean? So like when we're talking, when we're doing our one-on-one, I'm not just counting your reps. I'm asking you, hey, how's your day? How's your mind today? How's your mindset? You know, what are you doing that's important today that you need to show up for? Like I'm asking deeper questions so that maybe I could hopefully spark some, you know, like maybe I can say something that would help you throughout your day or something, you know? So,
and I have noticed that just even with like some of the content that you put out, or when you are advertising your business, like it is so much more than just the outward results and the physical results. But I know, at least from what we've discussed, like it really is about like shifting mindset. So can you talk about that a little bit? Just even how that translates for your clients and fitness. And
So, so going online, I really had to niche down on like who my ideal client is. And, you know, there's so many fitness trainers out there that talk about, you know, specialize in weight loss and fat loss, and, you know, grow a bigger butt or whatever it is, right? But not a lot of trainers actually focus on the mindset part. And I just think that it's so key and it's so important for you to focus on the mindset part before you even take your clients through the weight loss journey, because it is so hard. Like losing weight, like if you're trying to lose 20 pounds, that's a whole lifestyle change. I can only imagine what your lifestyle looks like. Like, okay, how can we make sure that this journey is going to be as smooth, as easy? Again, it's not going to be easy, but like, how can we make this journey as seamless as possible? And it really just starts in the mind. So if we're not getting into your why, like why you're doing what you're doing, why do you want to lose the weight, you know, and it's so surface level to say that I want to lose the weight so I could look, you know, better in a bikini or fit better in my clothes. Like, no, well, how's your self-confidence? You know, how does that affect your family life? Like, does that make you, do you not have a lot of energy to play with your kids? Like, that's more reason rather than the outside, I just want to look good. No, like, because 9 times out of 10, people that want to lose weight and embark on a weight loss journey, somewhere along the lines, they have lost themselves. Yeah. They have lost control. They have stopped taking care of themselves and in return, stopped taking care of their family and the people that mean something to them. So, you know, making sure that my clients are aware of their whys, and then helping them to connect that emotionally is so important. And then on another end, you know, I kind of incorporate habit coaching into this whole mindset thing. It's just setting daily habits to help them move them forward to becoming the best version of themselves. And it starts with the little things that you do every day, right?
Yeah.
So
the compound effect.
Right, the compound effect. And then also just like when you help somebody with their mindset, you're giving them that, you're helping them to get that I can do spirit. Like, I can do this, right? A lot of people that suffer with like anxiety and depression, or they've just been really off the game for a really long time, it's so much easier to just sit there, lay on the couch, and then feel sorry for yourself. But then you get them up, you're like, okay, we're doing this. They start going through their workout, and then they start to feel better. They start to have that I can do spirit. And then when they have that I can do spirit, now they're like, okay, well, what else can I do? Okay, I'm going to start eating healthier. Okay, maybe I'm not going to have that Coke, you know? Yeah. So it's, again, like that trickling effect that pours into so much more than just the physical aspect, but it pours into the family, into their family life, spiritual even. And all those things. So.
It's very transformational.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm after. You know, it's that mind, body, and soul transformation. And that's what I had to go through. And I went through it successfully. Of course, I still have my days. But that is like the gift that I want to give the world, is for them to find that full transformation so that they can feel fulfilled. They can find purpose. They can love themselves, you know, and you know, again, I went through a crazy past. I've been broken so many times, and I just don't wish that on anybody. And if I could just help them get out of that, and yes, it's through health and fitness.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the first step, but that's why I also added in the mindset part of it. And so if I could help them do that, then, you know, I'm doing something good in life. Yeah. So that's how I give back.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Would you say, like, with like helping a specific client on their daily habits, like, is it very individualized? Do you feel like, oh, like your daily habits can work on myself and maybe the person sitting next to me, or this coach, like this mindset coaching, it's very unique to each person?
I would say that it's unique and very general at the same time, because when it comes to personal development, right, like it's a lot of the same things: going for a walk, reading, right, making sure you're working out, health and nutrition, right, making sure you're eating healthy foods. So it's a lot of the same things, but then it's also individualized, because I talk to each and every client of mine and I ask them, like, what are the areas in your life that you want to improve? What are your bad habits that you want to turn into good habits? So for some people, it's, I'm a snacker. I don't want to be a snacker, right? I have a client that wants to save money, so we have her saving $5 a day. So you know what I mean? But the other list, the first 2 are always going to be workout and nutrition, and then the last 3 is something that I tell them, okay, well, what do you want to improve in your life? And then we make that list based on what they value.
How cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Excuse the barking. I have a 3-month puppy
Super
here
cute.
at my house.
Super cute.
So kind of getting a little bit deeper into that. So I know that you've switched your business model to training in person. You have an app, and now you're also just pivoting to going fully online.
Yeah. I actually made that pivot already.
Which is super exciting.
Yeah, super exciting.
And I, like, just as we were talking, I remember, like, there, you know, for someone like myself, I'm just going to ask these questions on a selfish basis, but
go ahead.
You know, like I'm a woman who's in my 30s. I've been active for pretty much my entire life, but I will say, like, I fell into like that COVID-19 pounds, like stubborn weight that it's, you know, we can say it's been 3 years later, and whether I get on these like crazy workout routines or try to be super disciplined for like 3 weeks at a time or whatever, you know, I haven't been able to drop it. And I'm someone who, like, I go to a functional medicine doctor. I try to keep my stress under control. I'm not starving myself. But I sit at an office all day, you know, like, I feel like, and we can say, you know, it's like this or that, but, you know, I'm not 21 anymore where I can do like my 2-a-days at hot yoga and work 4 days a week and life is good. You know, like it's just in trying, like what made you want to come up with that special program? Like, was it someone for specifically like myself? And like how have the women who have signed up for your program, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. You know, I really make sure that my clients are an actual fit for like what I do. So they have to be at a certain level of pain to actually want to make a change. So when I get on these calls with them, I ask them, you know, like, what is your goal? Okay, well, how is this affecting you? In 5 years, if you don't do something about it, how's this going to affect your life, your family life, all your career, all of that? And if I can sense that they are not at a point of like that they're in so much pain, it's probably not a great fit.
Wow.
Because someone needs to really, you know, like when I got my mentor, right, I was in so much pain. I was like, I am so sick of taking 2 steps forward, 20 steps back. And I've been doing this thing for a really long time. I know that I'm so much better than where I am. And I know that if I focus, I could be in 6 months a completely different person. So I wish to see that in my potential client for them to actually surrender to the program and like let me help them. Because someone that doesn't want help, they won't change.
That's
right?
so true.
So
it's like, you're just it's like giving your money to the gym.
Right.
And seeing no results, and you've been a gym member for 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just, you know, I want to take on women that are serious, that are in pain, that really need help, so that way I could do what I do best and provide them with a service that could be life-changing, you know. And, you know, going back to what you're saying, we're not 21 anymore, you know. So I focused on women over 30 only because, yes, like our life looks a lot different. The things we care about and things we value are a lot different than before. We valued partying before.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I value looking good in a bikini so I can have a job, you know?
Right. And now it's like I get on calls and like I have, you know, potential clients that are like, I am scared to death to get diabetes, you know? They're doing it for their health and wellness. They're doing it for their families. They're doing it, of course, to feel better, to, you know, get more confidence, boost up their self-esteem, and all of those things are great. And like that's just really what I look for, and what I want to help women in their 30s with is find a way to still live life, you know, have a balanced life, have a way to carry out this healthy lifestyle in a sustainable manner. No crash diets, no crazy 2-a-days, you know, like how can we make this thing forever thing? Because the one thing that we have is our health, right? They say health is wealth, and that's something that no one can take away. It's also one thing that nobody can do for us. You know, so yeah, with that, that's what I hope to help women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and
that's so exciting.
So, yeah.
Would you say with the type of coaching that you specialize in and what your goal is for your clients, like is the goal for your clients to be with you forever, or is it really just for a set amount of time until you can get them to where they want to be, but like in a place where it's sustainable?
Yeah, great question. Good question. I love it. So definitely what I tell my clients and what how I view things is that like, I don't want you to rely on me forever. Of course, great. Yeah, it's business, right? But no, that's not the point of it. The point of it is to get you to a place where you understand your body, you understand what works for you, and educate you enough while you're inside my program to be able to carry it out, not just for yourself, but actually also for your family and the people that are around you. You know, they see you killing it at the gym, doing your meal preps, saying no to certain things. That does something to the people around you. You know, it inspires them. And you just don't know, you know, I guess like, not to toot my own horn, but you don't know how many people I've inspired with my life changes. Coming from a party girl to a personal trainer, running my own business. Now, you know, I'm my own boss with, you know, making my own schedule.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, like that's crazy, you know, but that's inspired a lot of people. And so again, just like going back to that, it's, you don't know who you can inspire with that journey. But back to your original question. I do base it on the client. Okay. Minimum is 6 months, I would say. But typically I would want like a whole year. Okay. Because then we can go through all the holidays and all of the, you know, navigate through life. And that's one mistake that a lot of people do, is that they start a program and then they might get frustrated with themselves, or they might think like the program doesn't work for them, and they quit after a month or 2 months. And I'm like, dude, like we haven't even had the chance to like go through things.
Yeah.
Like, because whether we like it or not, we're always going to go through things in our life that are unexpected. You might get sick, you might get into a car accident or something like that, but it's how we navigate through those hard times is what makes or breaks us. So that's what makes us successful or not, right? So, you know, it sucks when, you know, clients give up on themselves.
Yeah, that must be hard. But like you said, it's like only you can help yourself, right? And it's like you're just also a resource to kind of help pull that out of us, but you're not going to do it for us. So,
exactly. Yeah.
So outside of being an online trainer, I would say you are also a content creator. Would you also identify as a content creator?
I identify.
No, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this because
I need to vent.
Okay, vent. Tell it all. The content creator tells all, because I feel like, you know, when we were growing up, this wasn't a career choice. It was. I mean, I did you have like Zanga and stuff in MySpace and all that stuff? Okay, yeah, so did I. So
Friendster?
I didn't have a Friendster. I did have, so I had a Zanga, pivoted to MySpace, but like, kids these days, like they could be in middle school and know that they want to create content. Maybe they are creating content. They don't even have to like go to college and do all the things that maybe we were traditionally pushed to do, because now all these different options are here. But as a content creator, I kind of wanted to also pivot to that because that's also a stream of like your income and like your business, and how you also promote your personal training business. So like, can we talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it. All right.
Be real. I need all the things because it's very
being a content creator is hard work.
Yes.
Okay?
Say that. Say it. Keep saying it.
Yeah, it's more than just getting in front of the camera and, you know, pressing record. It's brainstorming the ideas, but more so the most challenging part of it all is like the imposter syndrome, and then feeling like, am I good enough? Yeah. You know, and so it's really like, it's mind-blowing. It's kind of like, dude, what did I sign myself up for? And then, you know, so if you're not confident, or, you know, you're not very sure in your message, it will, first of all, like you can tell, but it will cause this like imposter syndrome, and then like you start to doubt yourself, and you're like, oh man, am I cut out for this? Like on Instagram, you might see a lot of my posts, and I'm like, man, that's really good. She's really confident. But you guys don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Like, you don't know how many phone calls I've made to my best friend, be like, hey, does this sound stupid? Do I sound okay? Like, did you see that hair up there, like go fly around? Like
the flyaways, it's the things that you just like, you nitpick every little thing.
But when you do get like a lot of, I'm sorry, but like this is so bad, but when you do get a lot of views and comments on it, then you're like, oh, that was really good. But then here's where it messes up. When the algorithm isn't working in your favor, and then you don't get as many views and likes, then you start to question, I shouldn't have put that out, you know, like, oh, that wasn't good enough. Then it starts to have this trickling effect again on like your spirit and your confidence. But hence why I'm going to bring this home to God. This is why you need to root yourself and your identity in Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen. Because if you don't know who you are, you will easily get caught up in, you know, thinking about how many likes that you got and how many views you got. So it's so important to know that your value doesn't come from the likes and the views and how well that video did. It comes from who God says you are. And so,
that is so good.
Yeah, I just want to say 2023 is a year for being rooted, and that's like I was going to ask you what your word is this year. My word for 2023 is rooted, and just to root my identity in Christ. And because, man, there's going to be a lot of content creating, a lot of skills to be learned in my business, and probably a lot of failures, you know, to learn from. So it's really important for me to know who I am in Christ and who God says about me and how He looks at me, and not how the world sees me, because I'm putting myself out there. That's scary.
Yes,
you know,
it's very brave.
So knowing who I am in Christ, I could just post and pray. You know,
with that 90-second reel, how much time went in on the back end for that 90-second reel?
Hours, I want to say, if not days, only to contemplate. Because there's hours of brainstorming, right? And then you script it, and then you film it. That's like another hour. And then there's the 3 days in between where you're not sure if you want to post it.
Oh, yeah.
So some days it could be an hour, some days it could be 5 days. Like, you know, I've been sitting on some content that's been there since November, girl. Like,
why aren't you posting it, Mika?
Because it's not good enough, right? You know, but it's okay. I'm learning and I'm finding my voice, and it's one thing that people don't tell you embarking on an online business is how much content you're going to be creating, how much copy you're going to be writing, as in like copywriting, where you have to write persuasively to hopefully entice somebody to pay attention to what you're trying to sell them or talk about. There's a lot of back end systems that just give me a headache that I didn't know that existed. But I wear all the hats in my business. Yeah. So,
do you learn as you go? Like, has this been like a learn as you go type of experience?
Yeah, very much.
Like no experience in like copywriting or SEO or any of that stuff.
So I actually signed up for a business coaching program. So they teach us all of that. So it is step by step.
Okay.
But it is step by step. However, you know, you realize that you don't have those skills. And so I just tell myself, look, just enjoy the journey. This is something like you've never done before. So treat it as a new business. Treat it as, you know, this is just something that will take time, but will be so fulfilling in the end. So just hang in there, girl. I keep telling myself, hang in there.
And with with all the shifts in the algorithm, things are changing. There's like new platforms that come out, like just over the course of the time that you have been content creating. So what would you say has been like tried and true in like, you know, creating the community you've created, getting your followers or engagement on your posts, and like, how often do you really have to like pivot in like your content?
All right. So when you were saying all of that, there's only one thing that I can think of that is tried and true that has not changed, is just like authenticity and being vulnerable.
Good. That is so good.
Because it's true on the front end and on the back end, because when people can tell when you're being authentic and when you're not, right? Yeah. And at the same time, if you're not authentic, you don't feel like you're going to doubt that piece of content that you put out or that story you put out on the back end. You're going to be like, oh man, that didn't sound like me. But if you knew that that was you, you will never regret it. So stay true to yourself, stay authentic, stay vulnerable, because people actually connect well with other people that are just people. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's so many times where I've been vulnerable, like maybe even crying on my story, just saying like, I am so depressed, da da da. But then that's the post that would get the most traction, and people would be like, oh my God, I'm so thankful that you're so vulnerable. Like that helped me get through something, because I started to feel bad about myself for being depressed. But then I see you, someone like you, so depressed. So, you know, it just makes you so much more relatable. So, you know, I think, again, just be authentic and be vulnerable.
That's so good, especially in a world of being online. You really could be whoever you want.
Yeah.
Or you really could show
scary
whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, to really put yourself out there, to have that vulnerability, which I think is so rare these days, which is kind of sad to say.
I know.
But yeah, I feel like people will see right through the content that you put out and know whether like, okay, is she in this for the clicks? Is she in this because this is like what she actually wants to put out?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. It's been a journey, but yeah.
And you're about to embark on a new one.
Yes.
So we are filming this. It's like the first week of January, and Mika is moving to Tennessee.
Yes, I am moving to Franklin, Tennessee. It's right next to Nashville, and I'm super excited. I leave on Wednesday, and I'm packing everything that I have into my Audi, my SUV, which I traded in like 2 months ago because I knew I was going to move, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, how am I going to fit my life in my trunk, you know? So I got a bigger car. So whatever can fit is going to fit. I sold everything. And I'm so excited for this new chapter, new journey. I'm excited to go shopping for all of my new stuff in my apartment.
It's like it's truly a new start, which is so exciting. Yeah. And it is nice to, like when you are moving and like you said, consolidating everything into such a small space to take with you, I feel like it really helps. I don't know. It's like purging is just so.
Yeah. It almost like makes you think of like, okay, well,
lighter.
What do you value the most?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
And it couldn't have come at a better time, you know, of me just simplifying my life, really knowing who I am, really knowing what I value, and then you pick and choose like all the things that you value and things that I want to take with me. And it's really just like some clothes, and like I'm happy if I'm just able to bring my sneakers, joggers sets, and that's it. You know, and my dogs, of course, right? But
do you think they're gonna like the South?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. You're like, I hope so.
Yeah. But you know, and it like when I had to sell my furniture, I was just thinking like, man, this is all just material. These are all just things that you can replace, you know. It does not compare to the character that God is building within me. It doesn't compare to all the many opportunities and blessings that are ahead of me. Like these are just things, and like I'm almost disgusted with myself with how much I have acquired over the last 2 years in the house and how much I had to purge. I'm just like, how did I end up with so many things? Like,
it's so easy too, because you're like, you feel, and it's so funny how you can get comfortable in your own space.
Yeah.
And when it is time to let things go, it, like you said, it really identifies like, oh my gosh, like how much did I really put this much value into this thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's such a freeing feeling with being able to be like, I don't need this.
Yes. I'm so excited, girl. Like when I was purging and I was selling things, like after every sale, I was like, yes, like it feels lighter, you know? So this time around, I'm only going to get the things that I really need, which is desk, bed, couch, and some kitchenware.
Yeah.
And a camera and a light and a brain and a sound mind and the Holy Spirit.
Yes,
I'm good.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up, but there's a couple of things I did want to ask you. I'm trying to see if we missed anything.
Okay. This is fun.
Yeah, this is. Okay. So we went over your word for 2023. So as you're leaving Las Vegas and as you're starting this new year, I should have asked you this like last week, but what are you leaving in 2022? What's staying behind?
Nikki.
It's those New Year's questions, you know? The people want to know.
Whew. Okay. Let me take a sip of water. What am I leaving behind? Oh, gosh, that's so funny because there's one thing on my mind but I'm not going to say it. Okay, this is what I'm leaving behind, okay? I am leaving behind self-doubt, negative self-talk, no more settling for less than I am, less than I deserve, actually. Letting go of any hurt and pain, letting go of any unforgiveness, and let's see. I'm keeping all of you guys in my heart, so that's how we're going away. And I'm excited to embrace new things. And I think I'm also going to let go of, let's see, like staying at home too much.
Yes, I know. I feel like 2023, everyone's like done. We're done staying home.
Yeah, so like I admit, like there is a time where I really, when I focus, I'm so focused that like I almost isolate. And I'm so happy with just me and my dogs. But I know that when I move to Tennessee, that there's going to be more of that. But I'm going to actually like push myself to experience new things, like go on that hike, go on that canoe ride, or go meet up with those people for dinner or whatnot, and be a little bit more sociable. So I definitely want to leave staying at home a lot behind, because a lot of that's going to be done anyway because of work. So on my free time, when I know I deserve it, I'm going to go out and try to do some fun stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. I'm so excited for you in this new season. Can I just tell you, I'm so bummed that she's moving, but this is going to be such an exciting time. But you're going to visit me. Yes, I'm going to visit.
It's your birthday?
Yes, Labor Day weekend is my birthday.
When is that, May?
September.
That's so far.
I know. Well, I don't know. We'll talk to the girls. We'll figure it out.
Break?
We'll figure it out. Maybe my bachelorette, because
Yes, it is oh my gosh.
I know,
the bachelorette capital of the world.
I know. And the girls are dying for bachelorette. I just
oh my gosh, I will set it up.
I want to go to
I will
the
set
spa.
it up. No, I will set it up. I love it. Yay.
Okay. So
this is a really good thing that we switched places, because when you're talking, you can
just like be like, oh yeah,
this is your good side.
Yeah, this is my good side now.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Carlos. Thank you.
I'm so happy for you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. I mean, just where life was a year ago and where it's heading. That was something that Carlos and I were talking about actually. With it being a new year, because like there's that weird in between where you're like writing the dates of the previous year and you're like, oh shoot, it's actually this year, and we were both in agreement, like, no, like, it feels like 2023. Like, we were so ready for the start of this new year, and I think it made us even more excited to just look forward to our future and like just not be so worried about the past. And
that's good. Yeah. For me, it's so crazy because 2023 is the first year where like I'm looking at my year and I literally didn't write goals or I didn't have like a vision. I think during my fast this coming week, I'm going to ask for vision, but because I'm moving to a new slate, it's a blank slate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just excited for what God has in store, but it's one of the first years where like I don't know what it's going to look like.
Which is even more exciting because you have zero control.
Yes,
Right? And that actually gives God the opportunity to really paint that blank slate that you have.
And then it's almost like just walking with God and allowing him to show you like one thing at a time. And then you noticing, oh, that's God, that's God, that's God, that's God. Because like when you're comfortable and you know exactly, you know the streets, you know the people that are going to be in your life, it's already there. You know what I mean? So yeah, you see some of God, but this time it's almost like there's a blank slate and then like God's just drawing or writing out your story. And so it's a beautiful thing because now that I'm walking with God, I'm more attentive to what his voice is and like what he's doing. So when he does something, it's like, I know that this is all orchestrated by God. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. I feel like for me, that was 2022 for me actually. Like, because towards the end of 2021, I was going through a lot of heartache. We were going through a lot with our family and it was a really hard season. And I remember like praying, like towards the end of 2021 and just like speaking like, Lord, like I'm so empty. I have no choice other than just be filled by you, you know? And then it wasn't before long where like the following year, like I met who I'm going to be marrying, like being able to pour into ministries that I really care about and like rediscover like new passions that I didn't even realize that were within me. And now being able to see that play out this year, it's, like I can't even describe it other than it was God. Because if it was up to me, I would have like sat in my sorrow a little bit longer. I would have just tried to grieve privately. I wouldn't have like poured, or I wouldn't have said yes to all the things that I said yes to. But I really felt like with those specific yeses in my life, it's brought all of the blessings that I can't credit anyone else but God. Like it wasn't me.
Yeah, that's what he does. That's how he does it. Yeah. And now you're getting married, and then you got this podcast, and so many things ahead. Like, girl, we are on for a great journey.
Yeah, I agree. Awesome. Okay, so a couple more fun questions. So what is a food that you would never give up? You wouldn't give up for the 6-pack. You wouldn't give up for,
spaghetti.
Okay, perfect. I have Filipino spaghetti behind us, so that's perfect.
Yeah, honestly, I really love spaghetti.
Really?
Like,
Always?
Honestly, I love SpaghettiOs. I love gnocchi. Like, I am, like, I guess noodles, but also rice, right?
Okay, yes, the carbs.
Yeah, the carbs. Pork. You said one, right?
Yeah,
okay,
you're like all the things.
Okay, we'll just stick with spaghetti.
Okay, yeah, if you
spaghetti
can
come in so many forms.
Yes.
I like spaghetti.
You're in a bind with your schedule. You have like 10, 15 minutes. What do you do? What do you prioritize? Do you prioritize cardio? Do you prioritize like a body part to pump for 15 minutes? Like what is something that you would recommend prioritizing if you're in a bind with time?
15 minutes? Can I get 20?
Okay, 20. Let's do it. Decide you're going to do it at home and not drive to the gym.
I would do shoulders.
Really? Why? Describe to me shoulders.
Because I can get a really good pump in 20 minutes and feel accomplished.
Okay.
Shoulder presses, lateral raises, rear delt flies. Just give me a pair of dumbbells, I'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good advice. Because sometimes I'm like, I only have 20 minutes to go to the gym. Like, maybe I'm just going to go on an incline walk or like.
Yeah, and that's I think most people. But for me, I feel like lifting just gives me the pump, the sweat, the satisfaction. It can also leave all my emotions like on the weights, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I just killed a cool 20-minute workout. And plus just doing increasing your muscle mass over trying to, do more cardio. There's just more benefit to having more muscle in your body for fat loss and keeping it off and maintaining. So.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So shoulders are the new focus. Mine, it's always like legs. I'm like, I can bust out some squats and feel accomplished, but I know. But my upper body, it always suffers. Because I'm like, it's
I just
my
feel
least
like
favorite
20
thing to work
minutes. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to make that your strength.
I need a good shoulder workout.
Yeah.
So
I just think that 20
about
minutes is too, it's not enough time for legs. Because I really, I think I need an hour to an hour and a half for legs. So I just won't feel accomplished. I'll just feel like I didn't do enough.
Okay.
So I want to feel
fair.
like I did.
Okay, shoulders. I'll try that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or arms.
Well, thank you so much again for coming on.
Thank
I
you for
know
having
you're
me.
about to leave, and something that we wanted to do for the audience, we talked about. So, how should we do this? Okay, so they both have to be following us on Instagram.
Yep.
And I will put it in the show notes.
Yes.
And what can we give away?
Okay, so as you know, I am an online fitness coach. I also specialize in mindset coaching. So for the viewers, listeners, I am offering, if you sign up for 4 months, you get 4 weeks for free. If you sign up for 6 months, you get 6 weeks for free. And then if you sign up for 12 months, you get 12 weeks for free. So a whole nother 3 months on top of coaching if you do it for a year.
Perfect.
Really great value. So just I'm looking forward to trying to help people.
And what we'll do then is you can go ahead, when you sign up with Mika, you can just put in a code Life with Nick, which I'll also put just so we know you guys listened to the episode, you guys loved it. And of course, if there's anything that you guys got out of it, we would love to hear your feedback from this episode. And if you are looking for a great trainer and someone to change your life, or even if you just need motivation, just watch Mika's stories. You guys can follow her.
Yeah, just follow me. Hey, drop me a friend request and a DM and just be like, hey, I saw you in Nikki's podcast. And I would just like to connect. And again, just trying to leave with this is that, when you enter into an online space, it's all about really creating relationships. We're really just in life, right?
Yeah.
It's about creating relationships. So I love it when people just message me kudos or hi, I saw you on this, I follow you on this, or just ask me a question. If there's any way that I can help you, you don't have to pay me for some advice. So I'm just putting it out there. I am all about building relationships, and
that's good.
If I can help somebody in any way in their day, I'm all for it. So
awesome. Well, thanks you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.
See ya.